approaching the date of surgery, and we're here because she needs her letter's recommendation.
All right, guys. So I had to make a second, like I had to go ahead and make this into a two-part episode because I didn't expect to get into all of this. So now we're going to look at Jazz's transition therapist and what happens, like the actual discussion that they have. And so let's go ahead and get into it.
It's a letter to affirm that all of these steps and requirements have been assessed and checked off. And
so this is the kook who held up $2 in front of this child and said, what part do you have now? And Jazz pointed to the doll with the male members and said, well, what part do you want to have, or what part do you feel like you should have, whatever. And then Jazz pointed to the doll without the male members, and it was like, confirmed, trans child, let's go full steam ahead. This lady built a big brand off of destroying lives. Okay.
Many of them, of course, are already met.
Dr. Volker has been seeing Jazz since she was itty bitty. Has been with us the entire journey, and she is the go-to for this letter.
I'd like to speak with Jazz by herself if you're okay with that.
If you guys like these episodes that I've been making and everything, please don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. We just talk about the inconvenient truth. We talk about things in the medical aspect, psychological aspect, and the spiritual aspect too, because really looking at what's going on with Jazz, it just lets me know that more people need to know that they were created in the image of God. I'm not here to preach to anybody, but people need to know that they are worth it out here. I mean, at least that much, right? Okay, so anyway, thank you for watching. Let's go ahead and get into it.
I'm pretty confident that Dr. Marilyn Volker will write me the letter. She knows that I'm obviously transgender, and I know that she's just going to check off all the boxes, sign me off, and then I can move on with this process.
Yep, that's pretty much, Jazz is right. That's exactly how I was going to go.
Teenagers don't like to come in and go through this process of assessing. I don't know. How do you feel?
I mean, it's fine to me. It's something that I need to get done. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about your body at this point?
I mean, obviously, I'm not happy with it. Yeah, which is clear because I have gender dysphoria.
In your mind, when you have that vagina made, the vaginoplasty, how is it you're going to feel?
I'm definitely going to be happier with my body. I mean, there's still the weight problem, but that's almost separate,
Okay. Oh, yes, because you might have to face that. Absolutely. That's, I'm glad you're saying that, because I wouldn't want you to think that just because I get this vagina made, I'm going to be like all of a sudden thinner.
Yeah, no, obviously not.
Recently, Jeanette said that Jazz has gained weight, and it's been many months since I have seen Jazz physically in my office, so it's very critical to talk about her. Binge eating. Did any of the doctors say anything about weight in relationship to the surgery coming up?
They said I need to lose 30 pounds before I could get the surgery done. However, it's been a struggle, and it's just the reason why it's so difficult is because I'm a binge eater, and I take a lot of comfort in food. I'm a stress eater. And I almost don't want to stop myself because I love food so much. It's like hard to let go. I don't care if I die a few years earlier just because of food.
Oh, okay. So food you find comfort in. Okay. When do you need comfort?
I'm just very stressed, and I'm not always very happy, so.
Do you wake up and I'm stressed?
I mean, if I have to go to school, yeah.
What don't you like about school? Or what's stressful about school?
I don't like anything about school.
I appreciate education, but I don't have a lot of friends at my school, and there's no one who I could really talk to. I feel lonely sometimes.
Okay, so, all right. Let me cut in because for editing purposes. So a lot was said. First of all, do you want this one? Yeah, I don't like my body because I have gender dysphoria. So obviously I don't like my body. It sounds scripted. That's number one. But whatever, we move on. We barely stay stuck on that. I have to lose weight for surgery and it's kind of hard, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, because I don't want you to think that, when you get a vagina that you'll be skinny. What the heck are we doing? What is this conversation? And so, how do you feel about your weight or whatever? And so, Jazz says, "I love food because I'm a binge eater," and I'm sure that definitely has like that effect of like food is my comfortability or whatever. Which I'm not really sure how much I believe in that, but whatever. But there's also a metabolic instability that's happening here that we never talk about. So what are you saying? Like seriously, like I just don't get it. Like what are we doing here? You know? So w- again, we're not really having a real discussion. And then Jazz says, I don't care if I die early just for food. Okay, what? I've never felt like that. Like, like I like to eat. You know what I'm saying? But what? Pay attention. This person's like, I'm lonely. I'm in this performance theater every day of my life. You know what? If it ended, so be it. That's now that I have to say is pretty matter of fact almost.
It's hard because I'm such a perfectionist. So it's either I try my hardest and be valedictorian, or I drop out of high school. Those are the ends of the spectrum.
Do you think that you expect too much of you?
Yeah. I mean, like, there's definitely a lot of things I have to do and things where I have to be serious, where I have to be an adult. I've had to face a lot of big decisions in my life, especially when it comes to the surgery, and it's difficult. There's always something that goes wrong with me, especially with me trying this experimental procedure. It's only been done about 15 times. There are problems that can occur, and problems always seem to hit me one way or another.
Oh,
Yeah. It's almost like someone's testing me.
okay. Okay.
And I feel like most people would be able to juggle it and get through it, but I don't know. I'm not very good at getting through it. That's probably why I go in my room and shelter myself and all that.
Oh, is that how you cope?
Well, I mean, that's the only thing I like to do in life right now is just lay down, watch TV on my computer while eating.
Every one of us has to really look at this. Now, the only thing is, there's positive coping and negative coping. A lot of people who go through stress and anxiety will cope in a variety of ways. She chose food.
Okay, so I already see this. This is becoming a two-part episode because it is going very deep. I don't know what is making Jazz talk this honest in front of the cameras, but Jazz is basically saying like, I just want to eat my life away and just stay in my room, which is true because there are scenes where Jazz has like food in the room and Jazz like eating in the room, food hidden and all of this, right? And so it's like Jazz, obviously, right? The performance again. Now, update. This person is still, they're here, they're alive, they're moving, and they're finishing up in Harvard school. I don't know what really major Jazz went into. I mean, everything's kind of handed to you. It's all kinds of syndromes in this because Jazz does end up becoming valedictorian, but it's like, who else would it be? There's a whole show. And with Harvard, it's like, of course, Jazz was going to get in, and then Jazz got out, but then got back in. I mean, it's Harvard, it's Jazz, it's good publicity. Like, you know, even beyond the trans thing, the whole life is just, it's just a farce to me. It really is.
Right now, there must be then comfort in eating.
Yeah, but that's not very productive, is it?
Well, you would have to assess that. You're moving on something called harm reduction. So what kinds of other activities would you do to provide comfort? That would be the whole idea.
I don't know.
You take one coping behavior away, you have to put something else in its place. That is the process.
She's right. If this fool didn't say anything else that made sense, she's absolutely right. You take one coping behavior away, you have to put something else in the place. It's exactly how the mind works. Now, this is why, again, as coming here as a Christian, yep, keeping it real, focusing on the Lord and the kingdom of righteousness. I know it sounds boring to some, but it is to me, not just to me, it is the most productive and healthiest thing you could do, because then you focus, you're connected to your creator to understand that while you are going through struggles, because everybody goes through struggles, you do have a creator that created you and wants the best for you and has actually implanted a lot of purpose inside of you that you haven't realized yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, and your purpose could be your solution solver, your solver, your solution to whatever problems you're going through, right? So a lot of people, I mean, they switch it out with vices, right? She said once you remove one coping mechanism, you put another one back in. So like that's why a lot of people, I mean, look at Matthew Perry, who ended up being unalived because of some sort of ketamine. It was a ketamine dependency, and it might have been a withdrawal or something. I'm like, yo, why are people taking a ketamine? What's going on? And I'm hearing, oh no, it's good for depression. And so am I radical when I say, why don't you just get on your knees and pray? How is that anymore? Like, or do you want to take the horse tranquilizer, the elephant? Ketamine, I think it tranquilizes elephants, if I'm not mistaken. So you know what I mean? If we just balance this out, I mean, seriously, like, let's have a real discussion here. So the lady's right. So Jazz has to figure out like what is going to be Jazz's coping mechanism. Jazz says, I think somebody is trying to test me. I mean, your mom really put you in a bad situation. So the whole thing is a test. The whole thing is a test. The whole thing is a test. It just is. But the Lord is for everybody. Yes, I'm coming that way. Not on some, I get it. When people get defensive about Christians and they start to Bible thump, and if you're wrong for this, you're wrong. No, you can't lambast somebody and tell them, now come with me. I get that. I do. But the fact is, people, we are now, again, Jazz's situation is different because of the mom, but there's a lot of people who do things because they're trying to fill a void. And I get it. I do. I really do. It's just, if you have a foundation, maybe, not maybe, if you have a foundation while you're going through the hard times, you won't latch on to any old thing to fill a void. So that lady actually made sense for 2 seconds. I think she's absolutely batshit crazy. Sorry if I'm cursing, but she is.
Of this harm reduction. But underneath this are still a number of very stressful and insecurities that need to be addressed along the way. You have a target date set for when I'd like to be able to have this surgery?
Probably the beginning of summer.
All right, okay. So it gives us enough time here to really work on some of those goals. Great. Let's bring Mom in.
I'm a little bit nervous about today's session with Dr. Volker because she seems very distraught about this weight loss thing.
I'm sure you had a wonderful session.
We did. I've been asking you a lot of questions to go through some things, mostly about this letter.
I just need to know like what the next step is with the letter.
I think she's trying to say, are we getting the letter?
Look at that. It's like, forget everything that we just went through. Let's see what the answer is. Amazing.
How many relationships have you been in, Victoria?
I'm counting right now. It's like 6 or 7.
I just want to clearly make sure we're doing what we need to do to have the letter and everything in place. And
I think
make sure
she's trying
in
to
the right
say,
place.
are we getting the letter?
In the letter, I'm going to be saying that Jazz has been very clearly aware of healthiness in facing a surgery. It's not just about weight. It's about behind it, that kind of anxiety and comfort. I would like to see you working on harm reduction. I would like to have you come back to go through some things, mostly about the weight. I really still don't want you just to live in anxiousness. I want you to think about, what could I do to find comfort with something different that may not be as much food? And I obviously don't want you to stop eating. Then I'm willing to write the letter.
This whole weight thing, it's become an albatross. We need to get a handle on it right now because I'm really worried if she is mentally and physically sound to have the surgery. Marilyn is one of the tops in the field, if not the top, and I have to trust the doctor.
It's pretty disappointing, really, that Dr. Marilyn Volker didn't sign this letter. I feel like I know that I'm ready for this operation. I've wanted it my entire life. And I feel like it's very obvious that getting my letters for this surgery will be harder than I originally thought.
So if we actually had people who cared about Jazz, that rather than just getting the money and performing for the show, for the ratings, and giving an obstacle to getting the letter just for ratings, like, oh, let's tune in tomorrow and see if Jazz gets the letter. This would have been a moment where Marilyn could have been like, you know what, get somebody else to get the letter, because actually I'm seeing some serious red flags here, and I'm not going to be a part of this. But it's already set in stone that Jazz was going to get the letter. So I mean, come on, it's for the ratings anyway, right? And so this is why everybody failed this child. Everybody did. Everybody did. Marilyn is saying all the right things, actually, all the right things. All the right things. All the right things to say, you know what, guys, enough is enough. We've gone too far with this one. I don't think this is a good idea, because she's saying, I need you to find something else for comfort rather than food. The part, again, that Marilyn is not saying is, cling close to the word of God. Maybe you won't even need to do this if you connect to your creator instead of mermaids and butterflies, but whatever. So, find something else, Jazz. Well, what is it? What other vice should Jazz get? Because it's all a vice. Because Jazz not looking at life in reality, especially with mom around. So come on, it's all a vice. It's all a vice. So, and obviously Jazz went on to get the letter. Jazz got the letter, and now today, is anything any different? I mean, okay, yay, I lost 70 pounds. Yeah, everybody's losing weight. Everybody's losing weight. The big O is very, is beneficial to a lot of people. Everybody's losing weight. So did we fix the issue? No, we didn't. We didn't. The narrative has already been. I know I've wanted this all my life. I've wanted this all my life. Why? Because your mother told you that. Have you really? Have you looked about what you're doing? But you haven't. It's fun. It's fun. This is horrible. Horrible what happened. So that's why I had to break this up into two parts, because I wanted to go through the whole the whole actual session that Jazz had with the lady, with Marilyn. Another sick individual, though, because she ends up giving the letters or something. So does it matter? Right? And she did some good digging. All to toss it out the window. Extraordinary. I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye.